Good morning, the honorable educators, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Renata Theresia Lumban Toruan from State Senior High School Public 1, Sidikalang. As the speaker, our motion that we are going to review today is this House would abolish primary and middle school years that group children based on age them by competency and intelligence. First, what is the level of education? The level of education is the stage of education that is determined based on the level of development of students, the goals to be achieved, and the abilities developed. What is primary school? A primary school, elementary school, or grade school is a school for primary education of children who are 4 to 10 years of age. Primary schooling follows preschool and precedes secondary schooling. And then, what is middle school? A middle school is an educational stage which exists in some countries, providing education between primary school and secondary school. The concept, regulation, and classification of middle school as well as the age cover varies between and sometimes within countries. There is no race for those below average to pursue excitement because the environment influences a person. Because schools that incidentally have favorites and non-favorite race polemics because the competence of students differs between schools A and schools B. This will affect teacher requirement because competent teacher prefers schools with good accreditation. If based on age, what about those who are adults but are still less capable because age affects a person personally but does not necessarily affect their cognitive intelligence? Even some students are promoted to class with undeveloped intelligence and talents and blindness to values. Grouping is usually done by considering the assumption that students will develop optimally if given an environment with the same academic abilities. This is reinforced by another assumption that students with high potential will compete with each other. This competition is positive for stimulating achievement. Likewise, students with low academic ability will develop according to their potential. Another consideration is the right of every student to get the best service at school. Grouping is a way to provide the best service for a student. Behind this assumption is the view that class heterogeneity, students with high academic potential mixed with students with low academic potential, causes those who with a high academic potential do not develop optimally because teachers will provide service that can also be understood by students with low potential. It is clear from this view that schools that apply groupings of students based on academic ability make it easy for teachers to carry out learning according to the context of students. For a smart student, the teacher conducts learning with a higher standards. And for other classes, the teacher will do it with a different method according to the characteristic of student. This intelligence is suitable for competency or according to interest, talent, and age doesn't affect metric. In accordance with the Industrial Revolution and finding to maximize their potential, the intelligence system is like what? For example, technology is also in the revision of labor law or child protection as a work at NASA. Even someone has already happened professor because in the Industrial Revolution era, the most prioritized competence. The intelligence referred to here is according to their respective competencies. Find me a child who is considered the stupidest. I will train it. This is one of the famous sentences from a well-known Indonesian physicist, John Surya. All children are born extraordinary. However, the current educational methods have not maximally unleashed the great potential in every individual children. Basically, all children can depending on the teacher and the method. Thomas Alva Edison, who experienced the same thing, Einstein, Newton, Beethoven were also considered children who were not gifted if only Albert Einstein was forced to be child idol by his parents when he was small. Maybe now he is not a great scientist. In quantum teaching, there are no students who are stupid, and there are no students who are not. There are students who have not developed because the way of learning is not suitable between the teacher and the child. Everyone has leadership potential with themselves since they were born. But to face the context and challenge in the era of the Industrial Revolution, a change in the education system towards a modern direction, meaning there is a connection between schoolwork and the industrial world. All of this through the link and match program of the two lines starting from the STEAM based curriculum, that is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. Practice to the process of adapting to the world of work. In this revolutionary era, education that is really needed is education that can shape creative, innovative, and competitive. This can be achieved by grouping students according to their respective talents and interests. Indonesia is at a point where the workforce is unskilled, which has the fourth largest workforce in the world, but is very short of talent. Not it that is very short in talent. The challenge needs to be answered by increasing competence, especially mastery of computer technology, communication skills, the ability to work collaboratively, and the ability to continuously learn and be adaptive to environmental change. The number of unemployed due to lack of competence of the younger generation. Various programs provided by the government related to job training are also less than optimal in increasing competency. Because of what? It is necessary to explore talent from an early age, and this has been implemented in other countries where the quality of education cannot be doubted. Basically, there are no stupid students because they all have different potential, and therefore it is necessary to maximize this potential because it is part of intelligence, and the only solution is by grouping. Such characteristics needed to be classified so that they are in the same condition. The existence of the same condition can facilitate by provision of the same service because if the potential is different when the teacher gives the same teaching, then it will not be maximum. I strongly declare I agree with this topic.